performance and safety. These are all things that school uniforms should be providing for the students that are required to wear them. However, oftentimes students are left feeling restricted. And it's not about them feeling restricted from the way they move, it's not about them not being able to do certain things, it's about them feeling emotionally restricted. School uniforms are most commonly found in elementary schools, but also private schools, all grade levels, and these children are growing, so it's important for these growing children to be able to express themselves freely. So today, I will be going over the reasons school uniforms should not be required. So firstly, I will talk about how uniforms give a lack of freedom for the students. Then I'll go into how uniforms discourage individuality. And lastly, I will explain how uniforms don't benefit students academically. In today's society, it is easier to understand why freedom of expression is so important. School uniforms don't allow the students to use their clothing as a form of expression. On September 16, 2021, Brighter Kind published an article that explained how researchers have found that the clothing people wear really affects their behavior for the day, their mood for the day, their emotion. And with that, if some students don't feel comfortable sharing how they feel verbally, it is crucial for them to have their fashion, their clothing, as a possible outlet for communication or for just general expression. Giving students the opportunity to select the clothing that they wear at school really shows that the school cares for the students' general well-being and not just their test scores. This is just one example of how school uniforms might be more harmful than actually helpful for students. A similar reason school uniforms should not be enforced is that it accepts the lack of individuality. And on April 1st, 2018, liveabout.com published an article that explains how kids and teens actually use their clothing to try and fit into or identify themselves under part of a certain social group. People will try to argue that this is a problem because this causes cliques in schools. However, the children in this article have said that when they are forced to wear the same clothes as the people around them, they feel like they lose a sense of their self-identity. Also, based on the Ohio State News from December 20th, 2021, students who attended schools that required uniforms reported that they feel like they don't belong in their environment compared to students that are able to dress freely. They said that they felt fine at school and they felt like they belonged. Furthermore, school uniforms are sometimes gender specific. So to give you an example of what I'm talking about, here's an image I got from Google. I just searched school uniform and this was one of the first ones that popped up. As you can see, all the girls are seen wearing skirts and the boys are wearing pants. Even on a colder day, you'd see the girls wearing either leggings or long socks under their skirts, but they're still wearing skirts. And as mentioned by procon.org on May 3rd, 2021, students that are gender nonconforming can feel unseen due to these uniform requirements. And students in general really feel like they aren't taken seriously when they're forced to wear these school uniforms. Not only do these uniforms harm the students emotionally, but they don't help them academically speaking either. Schools often give education as their primary reason for enforcing these school uniforms. However, studies have shown that these uniforms have no true academic improvements. And there's been multiple studies done over multiple years, but to give you an example, Journalist Resource April 20th, 2018 shares that the results from their studies strongly suggest that uniforms are not the solution to American education flaws, as they really don't improve their academic achievement. So people will try to argue that if you allow a student to choose what they want to do or wear for school, then they're spending all their time worried about what they look like while they're getting ready. However, while students are getting ready, they're on their own time. It's when they're in class that is more important. And if a student feels uncomfortable in the school uniform that they're required to wear, they're going to be sitting in class worried about what other people are thinking about them and feeling so uncomfortable that they're hardly going to be able to pay attention to the material being provided. Whereas if a student were able to pick the clothing that they went to school in, then they would pick something that they felt comfortable in, something that made them feel confident, and they would be able to sit in their classroom environment feeling secure with themselves and giving their undivided attention to the material. Behavioral problems, attendance, and test scores have all been analyzed to find if school uniforms truly do have a positive effect on students. And according to Virginia Tech, March 14, 2016, they actually found a negative effect for uniforms on students. And this was for students of all ages, all grade levels, K through 12. So, with this, the push for school uniforms should really stop as there is no valid reason for them to be enforced. In this presentation, we went over how school uniforms suppress students' freedom of expression and their ability to be seen as an individual, as well as how studies have shown that uniforms have no benefit on the students behaviorally or academically. And given that students are going to school to learn and to prepare to be more independent, it would benefit them more if they were able to make more decisions for themselves so that they could find who they really are and what they really like. It is more beneficial for students if they are not forced to wear school uniforms. Always consider not only the students' academic well-being, but also their physical and mental well-being. Thank you.